One, two, three. Don't watch the news, be the news. Don't watch the news, be the news. Don't watch the news, be the news. Don't watch the news, be the news.
Hi folks, welcome to Boxing Beaver Media. We broadcast today from the traditional and unceded territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh First Nations, now called Vancouver. We look forward to the day when the newcomers, the Chichako, the settlers, and the First Peoples stand together in defense of a common and shared homeland. Now, on with the show. Hi folks, today I'm deeply honored to be interviewing and hosting Earle Peach. Earle is an award-winning community organizer, a conductor of at least 3 choirs, and I understand an ex-con. Well, I'm very, very proud of all of those things that you're doing and really glad that you're here today. I think one of the first times we met, I think, was at an RBC on Kingsway. Oh. And if I remember correctly, you and some of your Solidarity Note singers closed the branch. Do you want to talk about that?
Well, if it's the one I'm thinking of, it was out just close to the boundary between New West and Burnaby. And there were a number of coordinated actions happening at different branches of RBC at that time. Happened to choose one that was way out in unfamiliar territory. And they saw us coming. They were very careful to, lock all the doors, which was a bit odd. Since there were people inside, they were kind of letting them out one at a time. And so we tried this entrance, they locked down entrance. When we were at the other entrance, they locked down entrance. So we just stood outside and sang. We sang our song about that's a version of Under the Boardwalk.
Ah,
yeah,
cool.
Called Disinvest Now.
Mm-hmm, cool.
Yeah. As in when the tanker goes down and spills the oil upon the sea, and the pipeline breaks and ruins Burnaby, stop the insanity right here and now. Oh yeah, take your money out of RBC, we'll show you how. Anyway,
Yeah,
so
bravo. And just so you're aware, I think I have some stills and maybe a little video recording of that action.
Okay.
So we'll be showing that when you're telling your story. And thanks for the song.
Yep.
That's great.
Although I understood you just interviewed Ash, and to be honest, I thought that the song that she sang in the RBC branch on Fraser and was it 49 was actually more effective in the sense that we actually got into the branch.
Yes.
And she sang this beautiful song, and everybody, even the guards listened, and the assistant manager of the bank listened, and all the customers listened, and a couple of them came out afterwards and said, I didn't know any of this stuff.
Yeah.
So,
sort of a singing flash mob.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
So it was
cool. I know I've seen you many other times, in part sometimes as when I was an XR activist, and I seem to remember you at the foot of a tripod. I think I have a picture of that. I know some people have mixed views about XR and all the rest of it, but I know you were active for a while. Any thoughts about that period of your life?
That was the last time I got arrested.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't gotten arrested since then. That was number 6, I think. Mm-hmm. The first one, but this particular one was an action outside the Robson Courthouse where people were staging a die-in. And there was this tripod in the middle of the intersection of Nelson and Hornby. and so they removed the prison on the tripod, and I was sitting at the bottom. They gave me the option to stay or leave. So I stayed, and that brought me a charge of mischief.
Mischief.
Yeah, and so I had to hire a lawyer, and that was expensive, man.
Right.
Anyway, you know,
Yeah.
all of those actions are significant.
Yes.
Effective, I don't know.
Yes. Well, and of course, you were very in the struggle against oil and gas, still are, but you were very active in the TMX, anti-TMX movement.
Yep.
And I think that, I know that so were many other people.
Yep.
That were recently written up in this book called Standing on High Ground, Civil Disobedience on Burnaby Mountain. And Earle was a key figure in that action. And, well,
Very
yeah. And
I opened very small doors.
yeah, did you do any singing?
Oh yeah, we did lots of singing.
What was your most memorable TMX song story?
Oh, yeah. Well, there were a couple of times when there were larger groupings up there, but honestly, this is going to sound like stupid and romantic, but at the beginning, like 2014, there was just a couple named Adam and Mia that were going up there. You remember them?
Yeah.
Mia, can't remember her last name. Yes, it is. And they set up a tiny little camp. There were like 3 or 4 people, and trying to get more people up there. And I went up and found their camp because it wasn't easy to find. This thing that turned into something so much bigger later. And I just walked up the trail, and I was all by myself. And I sat and just looked out through. It was raining, and looking at this gorgeous mountain around me, so full of life. And I can't remember exactly what I sang. I think I sang Circle Chant. And that goes like, circle around for freedom, circle around for peace, for all of us imprisoned, circle for release, circle for the planet, circle for each soul, for the children of our children, keep the circle whole. And, later on there were all these people, and we got arrested. That stupid way where they had this cordon up that was around an area that they had the wrong coordinates for. It was actually 35 meters from the place was actually illegal. And so a bunch of people went to the Burnaby detachment that day, and we sang in the Burnaby detachment while we were waiting, and of course they dropped all the charges. But then TMX started a suit against the 11 people in what we called the Justin Trudeau Brigade, because Justin Trudeau said there should be no development without community consent, and so here we were in the community, and the community was saying no. We knocked on hundreds of doors in the Forest Grove neighborhood and asked people to sign the People's Injunction against TMX, and we posted it on their fence, and then we had a celebration of the fact. But also we had community meetings at local community hall, and Stuart Phillip came and talked to it, and so that was my real taste of community building, and man, that was a lot of work, actually putting a real community movement together.
Yes.
That's hard shit.
Yes,
more than just going.
Well, and my memory of things, Earle, you did an excellent job of it, so thank you.
Well, it was pretty. I mean, it was obviously there were a bunch of us, right?
Yeah. Ruth.
Yeah, and and Thomas and
Yeah.
all those folks. And we would meet at
Doctor.
somebody's place. Oh, there was Bina. Did you ever meet Bina Salamat?
Yeah.
It's a lovely person. We met at her place, and then everyone would dutifully take out our cell phones and put them in the freezer.
Yes.
And,
Yeah. Well, there is that.
Yeah.
Now, in the book, back to standing on higher ground. I think there's a speech you made at the time. Was that sentencing?
Yeah.
And then some notes from prison.
Right.
And if you want, I'd like you maybe to read a passage or something from that. Are you okay with that or not?
Okay. Well, yeah, I could do that, but I was going to say I would tell you a story instead.
Please,
that
please.
was actually it was in the original notes that I'd sent.
Please.
But for some reason they didn't include it, and it's part of my whole shtick about being in prison at that time was that the prison is really in your mind. You know, that there's a part of you that, like, I don't know if you ever heard of the diving bell and the butterfly.
No, I haven't.
It's by a man who had what they called locked-in syndrome, and that at first people thought that he was a complete vegetable, but then somebody noticed that his eyeballs could move, right? And so somebody asked him a question and said, if the answer is yes, move your eyes twice, and if it's no, move your eyes once. And he moved his eyes twice, and then they discovered that he was completely in there. And this man with locked-in syndrome wrote this book by
Really?
dictating it to others with movements of his eyes, right? Called The Diving Bell and Butterfly, which was about his experience of being free. And so, like, if somebody who's in that condition can experience freedom, then who am I not to experience freedom while I'm in a stupid jail cell, right?
Yes.
And there was a TV, and one night they showed Turner Classic Movies. They also showed Marvel, the channel, whatever it was.
Yes.
And,
Disney something, eh?
no, it was
Superheroes.
It was all superheroes. And I actually wrote a poem called "Victim of Iron Man," which was like a scene from the Iron Man movie where Iron Man is tossing these bad guys out of a helicopter, and they're flying into the flames below to their deaths, right? And I was just thinking, all of these movies feature hundreds of people who are just like expiring conveniently while the hero goes off and, saves whatever. And each of those people that they're offing has a backstory, like a family, and they grew up and told stories, and they were doing this for a reason, right? And so I wrote this poem from the perspective of the guy who was being tossed out of the helicopter.
Oh, wow.
And how he remembered, like, as he saw his life flash before him, he remembered all of the things from grade 6, and how this woman he had betrayed, and how he lost hope, and some years before had met these people, and he just thought that the world could actually change, and finally he had some agency, and here he was being tossed out of a helicopter into the flames by this grinning iron skull of a billionaire. Anyway, but I digress, because on Turner Classic Movies they showed I think it was one of the festival films. It wasn't Altamont, because that was a disaster, and it wasn't Woodstock, and I forget which one it was. But the last
something. The Last Waltz.
No, but the last half hour of it was Ravi Shankar, and I forget the guy who played tabla with him, but also like an utterly brilliant musician. And I had seen it before, but I mean, so this film featured, Jimi Hendrix and Janis Joplin and the Doors and blah, 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 and then Ravi Shankar at the end. And I'm sitting there listening to Ravi Shankar. It still just moves me to think of it. Because they were so, lovely. And I was sitting there listening to them with tears streaming down my face and thinking, yes, this is what it means to be free.
In jail.
In jail.
And
Yeah.
in Maple Ridge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This walls schmalls, right? So that I entered into a kind of a psychological war with the guards, because now I can read you something from this. Because the whole point of a system like this, this place is all about control, perforce. How could it be otherwise? The food is, as advertised, awful. Supper consisted of 2 sandwiches of white bread with a couple of slices each of industrial cheese. Breakfast, a plastic wrap of something resembling cornflakes. 3 slices of bread, a muffin. 2 styrofoam cups containing apple juice and skim milk. I was offered coffee, but strangely none appeared. Everything naturally in plastic packages. The detritus accumulates. There is, of all things, a television in the cell, although it has a habit of randomly losing signal. So it has BBC, CBC. On the wall behind me is written, Lord, I ask you to keep my loved ones safe and grant us another day, another chance to make things right with our past, our present, for our future, so we can live in peace with each other and ourselves and with you. In your name I pray, dear Jesus, amen. Above it is written 4 times, bail will happen. On the door someone has written in pen, blah blah, so-and-so is a rat. Ghosts. I was informed by the guard who led me to this cell that for vegetarian meals and writing paper I should fill out a special request form. She then brought me those forms and I dutifully filled them out. However, no one seems interested in actually taking the forms. The gentleman who brought my breakfast informed me that this was the job of the duty officer, who supposedly checks in on the prisoner every 45 minutes. I did see one face flash by the window a bit later, so I knocked on the window of the door. He approached with that upward tilt of the chin, which conveys contempt, and when I made my request, walked away shaking his head. It's all about power and control, right? So I decided the only way to maintain autonomy in a situation like that is not to need what they have to offer you. And if that means like not eating, well, fine, right? I mean, I got tested for COVID and I actually literally could not leave the cell for 4 days, even for a shower, while they took the test and determined that I did not have COVID. But the reason I thought I had COVID was because this food made me sick, because there was so much sugar in it, right?
Yes.
So yeah, I got a routine where I would walk around the cell and count the steps or measure the walls of the cell using my voice, because I have perfect pitch and I could tell, I know the speed of sound, so I was able to measure out like how high and how big the bricks were, like dividing that space into sections, and then meditating in the morning when the sun would briefly come through the windows of the cell bars.
So you weren't going to let them keep you in prison?
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Earle. Thank you for those stories. To move on a little bit, you're also a choir conductor. I was fumbling with the word. I was going to call you a choir master, and then that sounded sexist and all that kind of stuff. What does one call a choir leader? A choir
Facilitator, coordinator, whatever.
Yes.
Transistor.
So, what are the 3 groups that you're?
So one is the Solidarity Notes Choir, which
Right.
meets on Sunday mornings at the 55 Plus Lounge at Britannia.
Okay.
And that's the group that mostly sang up on Burnaby Mountain.
Yes.
Then the Highs and Lows, which is a mental health choir,
Mm.
which meets at the Unitarians 49th and Oak on Tuesdays
Right.
at noon. And then Inquiring Minds, which is a choir, which meets at the 411 Seniors at the 19th and Fraser on Monday nights.
Cool.
And I've been doing, I guess I started doing that in the 90s, actually. There was a woman named Pam who ran Inquiring Minds. I actually didn't name it. And she was giving it up. She said, "Do you want to run a choir?" I said, "Well, I've never done it before, so I'll try it." And there were 15 people there the first day I showed up, and 2 people the next. So I had to learn from the ground up. And so, some would argue that I never actually did.
Well, I want to say I have personal connections to the choir.
Yeah.
And, therefore I attend quite a few of your
Yeah.
concerts. Always fun, always great people. I remember one day it was really, really hot. And was in, I'm going to call it the church, that's the community center off Hastings.
Off Hastings.
Oh,
you're talking about, right. Yeah, that was the David Rovick's concert.
David
at,
Rovick's, it was
the
really...
Longhouse Church.
Yes, and the reason I'm bringing it up now is it was a good concert, and I got some good footage of it. We'll be playing that later on, so people can hear a song or two from that.
Yeah.
But it was the heat of the day.
Yeah.
What's your most memorable Solidarity Notes concert, or what? When I ask you that, what concerts come to mind?
Well,
what performances?
Okay, so for me, the most significant moment, and I've said this before, was at the opening of the 2010 Olympics, which is basically a giant Coke advertisement.
Yeah.
And Coke took over the town, and there were Coke floats everywhere. There's a 9-foot Coke sign outside the entrance to the Granville SkyTrain. But anyway, at the outset, the ceremonial opening of it in BC Place, there were 5,000 people at the art gallery who were marching against the opening of the Olympics, which is, the Olympics, please. It's a group of people, many of whom are under criminal sanction. I can't even speak, they're grotesque. Anyway, so there we were, 5,000 people marching along, and a bunch of, we had gotten together with 5 choirs, the Solidarity Notes, and Sara Kendall's choir, the Cultural Medicine Cabinet, and Vanessa, what's her last name? Vanessa Richards' choir, and there was a woman named Meta Patterson, and there was one other, and so we had 150 singers.
Mm.
And so we sang at the art gallery, and then we marched along with the people, and we were kind of at the back of the group that was marching along. A bunch of people drifted away, but there's still about a couple thousand people crowded into the block just south of Granville Street of Robson, down to where it runs across the bypass there, and there was a line of horses at the end of that block with cops mounted on them, and they were not going to let people cross over to BC Place, where the ceremonies were happening, and they were pushing back against the crowd, like literally, and there were First Nations elders at the beginning, at the front of the march, as you might expect, and they were pushing against these elders, and some of the younger Native folks were not too happy about this, and they were starting to toss traffic cones over the tops of the crowd at the police, right? And so you got 2,000 people walked into this place. Potential for violence is huge.
Yes.
Right. And so Sara Kendall, who was one of the organizers of this march, came up to us at the back. She said, "Up to the front right now." And magically this pathway appeared in front of us. And so all 150 of us moved up to the front, and we started singing, "I send my love over the mountain. I send my love over the sea." Right? And I looked beside me, and there was a guy with a bandana over his face. And he was singing under the bandana.
Cool.
And I knew that it was going to be okay.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so nobody got hurt.
Yeah.
And so that really impressed me with the power of community music.
Yes.
Right? And
Now, I think I read here in the introduction that you won an award, something about community.
oh, that thing.
What that thing? No, I'm sure it was well deserved. What was it for?
It was for community activism in music.
Yes.
And it was handed to me by Gregor Robertson. And
He ended up being quite famous, didn't he?
well, I mean,
I'm joking.
yeah. Oh
Yeah.
man.
So, getting back to the choir question, you mentioned where the choirs meet and that kind of thing. If somebody wanted to find out more, send an email, a website, that kind of Instagram,
Yes.
do you
So-
maintain anything like that?
The Solidarity Notes has a website and also a Facebook page.
Oh, cool. You happen to know addresses and things?
It's solidaritynotes.ca.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, easy to
straightforward.
remember. And, it's facebook.com/solidaritynotes.
Okay.
We just sang for the International Women's Day event on Tuesday.
I think we've got a couple of photographs of that.
Or Sunday, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and somebody from there sent me some photos, which I put on Facebook, and I actually used one of them as the new Facebook picture of the choir because it looks pretty good, except that we have the Microsoft tower in the background.
So if we use them, can we credit you with the photographs?
No, actually, the credit is on the Facebook page.
Okay.
It's a woman named Yasmin, I believe.
Yasmin. Okay, we'll have a look.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, sort of a final question, and you've answered it already a little bit. I warned you that this was coming. From all your years of activism and all the different ways you've been an activist, what have you learned about effective activism? Was it worth it?
Was it worth it? Yeah, of course it was worth it.
Why?
Cause
It sounds horrible. You were in jail eating white bread and processed cheese. I mean, who needs that?
Because, what else are you going to do? If you don't do something, then you'll end up always thinking to yourself, I could have done something and I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But the other thing about it is, the more I do it, at least for me, the more I realize, I'm just like anybody else. I'm just there, and anybody at any time can come up with the idea that makes it work, that saves the day. And so anybody, we're all leaders in a way. And, it doesn't always happen, but sometimes strength comes from the unlikeliest places.
Right. Well, I want to thank you, and I want to thank you with a line from a song by Sai Khan, called "People Like You Help People Like Me Go On." Thank you, Earle.
Well, thank you, Tom. It's mutual.
That said, one of the sponsors, joking, because no money passes hands here. One of the sponsors makes banners. It's Rebel Rags.
Oh, yeah.
And they've made a banner for you here, Solidarity Notes. What it says is, water is life, solidarity notes, justice. Another story coming up here. Stop right now, and pictures with and the reason I stopped right now, you have to tell me that story.
Okay, so before I do that, I just want to say something about singing together in a group.
Yes,
All right,
please.
so there's multiple advantages to it, but the first one is that harmony is actually good for your body.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So when you're in a situation of singing with other people in harmony, you are literally healing yourself, physically, right? But second of all, if you're together with a group and you're singing a song together that has a motivation, a feeling behind it, what you're doing is synchronizing your emotions so that they amplify one another.
Right.
And I want to tell you another little
Please,
story about that.
please.
When
Film's cheap.
when Harry Rankin died, we sang at his memorial, which is at the Croatian Hall. There were 600 people in the audience, right? And we had just started a couple years, this is 2002 or whatever. And we sang a song to this audience, and they all stood on their feet and they gave us a standing ovation, right? And I came off the stage and there was this one member of the choir who was looking at me with his eyes were like saucers. He said, "I never had energy directed at me like that before." And I was thinking to myself, what speaker could they have brought from around the world to say things so eloquently that they would stand on their feet and beat their palms to bloody rags?
Yes.
And I couldn't think of anybody, but they had done it because we were them.
Yes.
Right? And so we were singing what they had in their hearts. And so
being in a position like that is just a matter of like unbelievable privilege.
Right. Well, again, thank you. Do you want to sing us out? Do you want to sing,
Yeah.
something a cappella for us?
Well, so the thing that comes to mind is as we come marching in the beauty of the day. 1,000,000 darkened kitchens, 1,000 mill-lofts grey, are touched with all the radiance that a sudden sun discloses. For the people hear us singing, bread and roses, bread and roses.
Thank you, Earle. Again.
Thanks, Tom.
The author of this song is Sara Thomsen, and she had the following to say about it. This song is inspired by the Standing Rock Sioux tribe and all the tribes, nations, native and non-native people coming together to protect the land and water threatened by the construction of the Dakota Access Pipeline.
All my relations come, every nation come. All my relations under the sun, we are one. We are praying, come. We are praying, come. We are the song and we are the drum. We are one. We are the river, come. We are the river, come. We are the boat, the paddle, the shore. We are one.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that show. It was really fun to make. Here at Boxing Beaver, we're a community channel. We're volunteers, activists who are attempting to amplify the voices of activist groups here in the Lower Mainland of British Columbia. So we want you to support us through subscribing, sharing, and most importantly, participating in our channel. We invite you to come forward and make use of our airtime to talk about your cause, to promote your ideals. Do you qualify? Are you, your group, working to build a better world? Are you concerned with social justice, environmental health, Indigenous rights? If you are, Boxing Beaver Media is the place for you. So, thank you, and until next time. Bye.
We shall not give up the fight we have always started.